If you earn between $60,000 and $120,000 a year in the United States, but you still feel completely behind financially, this video is written specifically about you. You earn decent money. You pay your monthly bills exactly on time. You aren't doing anything obviously irresponsible. You don't have a reckless gambling habit. You don't buy luxury designer clothes every week, and you go to work diligently. And yet, every single Sunday night, you lie awake staring at the ceiling, doing the exact same mental math. And no matter how many times you calculate it, the math never adds up the way it should. You aren't broke in the traditional sense, but you don't feel secure. You earn more than the vast majority of the population, yet you feel like you are running on a corporate treadmill just to stay in the exact same place. If that is your current reality, we need to talk about what is actually happening beneath the surface. We are going to bypass the typical, generic motivational advice and look directly at verified data and raw structural economics, because the reason $80,000 earners feel broke in 2026 is not a lack of effort, talent, or intelligence. It is the result of highly engineered economic and behavioral systems running simultaneously in the background of your daily life, systems specifically designed to consume your surplus cash flow before it can ever compound into real wealth. Today, we are opening the master ledger. We are going to break down the exact math of why this income bracket feels so trapped, how the modern corporate landscape creates an optical illusion of wealth, and the precise mechanical shifts you need to make to break out of the cycle permanently. To understand why an $80,000 salary feels so tight today, we have to look at the anatomy of what we call the middle management trap. When an individual makes $40,000 a year, their financial survival strategy is simple. They minimize costs because they have to. They live with roommates, they drive older vehicles out of pure necessity, and their baseline lifestyle matches their survival limits. But when that same professional climbs the corporate ladder and hits the $80,000 to $100,000 range, a dangerous psychological shift occurs. The income moves from a survival mechanism to a status mechanism. First, let's look at the baseline math of your pay stub, because gross income is the biggest optical illusion in personal finance. When you tell yourself, I make $80,000 a year, your brain automatically assumes you have a massive amount of leverage. But let's run the real-world reduction. After federal income taxes, state taxes, FICA, and standard corporate health insurance premiums for a family, that $80,000 immediately shrinks. If you are doing what the mainstream financial media tells you to do, like putting a basic 6% into your traditional 401k, your actual take-home pay drops down to roughly $52,000 a year. That breaks down to approximately $4,300 a month in real, deployable liquid cash. Now, take that $4,300 of real monthly take-home pay and map it against the modern American cost of housing. In almost any major or mid-sized metropolitan area in the United States today, a standard non-luxury two-bedroom apartment or median home mortgage consumes at least $1,800 a month. Add in basic utilities, internet, and a standard grocery bill for a household, and another $800 vanishes. Before you have even spent a single dollar on transportation, entertainment, clothing, or emergencies, your $4,300 of take-home pay has been aggressively reduced to just $1,700 of actual discretionary leverage. This is why you feel broke. Your top-line number says $80,000, but your bottom-line leverage space is less than $2,000 a month. This incredibly narrow leverage window becomes highly dangerous when combined with the primary behavioral trap of the middle class, hedonic adaptation. This is a verified cognitive mechanism where your brain completely resets its baseline financial expectations within 90 days of any lifestyle upgrade. When you receive a corporate raise or a new position that bumps your income, it initially feels like an absolute flood of surplus capital. For the first few weeks, you feel wealthy. But subconsciously, your brain immediately begins looking for ways to align your outward physical lifestyle with your new corporate title. Within the first 30 days of that higher income hitting your account, a marginal upgrade feels entirely logical. You decide to move into a slightly nicer neighborhood, or you start shopping at the premium organic grocery store instead of the discount market, or you upgrade your casual dining habits. By day 60, these new elevated expenditures are integrated directly into your daily routine. And by day 90, the adaptation is complete. The upgraded lifestyle is no longer a luxury. It is your new normal. The psychological pleasure of the extra income completely evaporates, but the permanent, fixed, recurring cost remains bolted to your ledger. Because your standard of living rose at the exact same velocity as your career progression, your surplus savings margin remains identical to when you were making entry-level wages. Your gross income has scaled significantly over the years, but your net liquid surplus has remained completely flat. You have systematically increased your consumption liabilities without adding a single structural asset to your balance sheet. This keeps you in a state of perpetual dependence on the very next biweekly direct deposit, creating intense psychological anxiety every time Sunday night rolls around. What we must realize next is that this process isn't just happening in your mind, it is being systematically encouraged by external economic forces. The modern financial services industry, automotive dealerships, real estate marketers, and subscription platforms are all explicitly engineered to intercept an $80,000 earner's money before it ever has a chance to reach an investment account. They know exactly how much discretionary leverage you have, and they design their payment systems to match it perfectly. Think about how everything in modern society is marketed today. It is almost never sold on the total purchase price. Everything is packaged as a clean, manageable monthly payment. When you look at an asset through the lens of a monthly payment, your true comprehension of math is completely disabled. A dealership doesn't say a vehicle costs $50,000. They say it costs $600 a month. A software company doesn't say their platform costs $300 a year. They say it costs $24 a month. By fragmenting large numbers into tiny, digestible monthly blocks, they bypass your psychological defense mechanisms. When an $80,000 earner reviews their accounts, they see a series of small, seemingly harmless numbers: $30 for a streaming tier, $50 for a fitness subscription, $60 for a premium app bundle. They look at each item individually and conclude that it is completely insignificant to their overall financial health. But when you aggregate these automated, recurring leaks across your entire ledger, the combined outflow frequently totals $400 to $500 every single month. That $400 is not just a baseline expense, it is a direct extraction of your future wealth-building power. If that exact same cash flow were redirected into a low-cost broad market index fund compounding at an average annual return of 10%, it transforms into nearly $900,000 over a standard working career. You aren't just paying for short-term lifestyle convenience. You are actively subsidizing corporate bottom lines with your own retirement autonomy. This structural leakage leads directly to the most critical crisis facing the modern workforce today, the retirement math gap. Many professionals in their late 30s and 40s look at their corporate retirement account, see a balance of $70,000 or $80,000, and experience a completely false sense of security. They see a decent five-figure sum on a screen and assume the automatic corporate retirement system is working correctly on their behalf. But let us apply industry-standard financial drawdown mathematics to see the cold, unvarnished truth. According to Vanguard's comprehensive institutional report, How America Saves, the actual median 401k balance for working Americans between the ages of 55 and 64, individuals less than 10 years away from standard retirement age, is just $88,000. If you apply the industry standard 4% safe withdrawal rule to an $88,000 portfolio, that nest egg safely generates an annual yield of only $3,520. That breaks down to exactly $293 per month in usable inflation-adjusted income. Now, cross-reference that against data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which tracks the average baseline living expenses for an aging household at roughly $3,700 a month. The structural deficit is a catastrophic $3,400 short every single month. To break this cycle permanently, you must implement what we call the Falcon rule of wealth accumulation. The rule states that your financial security is never measured by your gross career income status. It is measured exclusively by your liquid asset multiples. Stop evaluating your progress based on how high your salary is, and start evaluating it based on how many months of baseline survival expenses your liquid investment portfolio can actively purchase without your physical labor. When you change the core metric of your life from income status to asset multiples, your relationship with money completely transforms. Escaping the six-figure paradox does not require an impossible economic shift or a higher salary. It requires a fundamental, systematic overhaul of how your current income is routed through your accounts. You must stop matching your baseline consumption to your corporate job title. You must view your $80,000 income not as a tool to fund monthly liabilities, but as an optimization engine to purchase compounding assets. The money is already there on your pay stub. It is simply being systematically intercepted before it ever has a chance to work for you. Now that you can see the systems running in the background, you have the absolute power to halt them. Subscribe to 9 to 5 Chimp for the real mathematical systems and money moves your 9 to 5 career never taught you. Drop a comment below right now. Does your $80,000 income feel tighter than it should in 2026? Let's check the numbers and audit the data together in the comment section below.